Your back hurts right now. Maybe it is a dull ache in the lower spine. Maybe it is that familiar tension that builds by midday and never quite leaves. You have probably been told to sit differently, to stretch more, to strengthen your core, and you have tried. Most people have. But here is something nobody tells you. That pain is not a personal failure. It is not bad posture or a weak body or the wrong chair. It is a message, an old message, one that has been trying to reach you for about 10,000 years, because the life your body was built for disappeared roughly 10,000 years ago. And everything since, every field, every city, every desk, every loaf of bread has been a slow collision between an ancient machine and a world it was never designed to run in. That collision has a name. We call it civilization. And inside it, something went terribly wrong. For most of human existence, there was no such thing as a farmer. For nearly 300,000 years, your ancestors walked this planet without fields, without crops, without stored food of any kind. They moved constantly. They ate dozens of different plants and animals across the seasons. No landlords, no grain stores, no harvest debt. Then, roughly 10,000 years ago, something shifted. In the region we now call the Fertile Crescent, modern-day Iraq, Syria, southeastern Turkey, people began doing something no human had done before. They stayed. They planted. They came back. It seems like an obvious upgrade. More food, less walking, a future you could plan for. But here is where it gets strange. The archaeological record tells a story almost nobody expects. The transition to farming was not a step forward for the human body. In almost every measurable way, it was a step backward, and the evidence is written directly in the bones. In 1984, paleopathologist Mark Cohen at the State University of New York published a landmark analysis comparing skeletal remains from hunter-gatherer populations and early farming communities across multiple continents. Farmers were shorter, in some populations by 3 to 4 inches. Their bones showed nutritional deficiencies, stunted growth, chronic stress markers that simply did not appear in earlier skeletons. Your body is built to eat a wide variety of things. That is not philosophy, it is architecture. You have the enzyme profile, the gut bacteria, and the jaw structure of an omnivore shaped across hundreds of thousands of years of dietary diversity. Early farmers ate wheat, mostly wheat, sometimes barley, then wheat again. Tooth decay followed agriculture like a shadow. Before farming, cavity rates ran under 2%. Within a few centuries of grain-based diets, that number climbed past 20% in some populations. Your mouth is still running the same bacterial chemistry. The food changed faster than the biology could follow. The spine tells an even harder story. Researchers studying mummified remains from ancient Egypt found disc degeneration and spinal compression in people still in their 20s, caused by hours of grinding grain crouched over stone. The same motion repeated every single day for an entire lifetime. Your lower back pain has a genealogy. It begins there. But here is the dark turn. It may not have been a choice. Archaeologist James Scott, in his 2017 book Against the Grain, argued that early agricultural settlements showed clear signs of coercion. The first farming communities were not voluntary cooperatives, they were controlled populations managed by protostates that needed a taxable, storable food surplus. Grain is uniquely useful to power. It can be counted, it can be stored, it can be taken. You cannot tax a hunter-gatherer. They carry nothing, store nothing, leave no surplus behind. But a farmer with a field and a granary, that is something a state can extract from, season after season, generation after generation. Your ancestors may not have chosen this. They may have been organized into it until the old knowledge of how to live any other way was simply gone. Your body is ancient. Everything around it arrived in the last heartbeat of evolutionary time. In 2012, bioarchaeologist Kristen Sobolik at the University of Maine described the modern human body as a Pleistocene organism living in a post-industrial world. That organism is you. And some quiet part of you, the part that aches by afternoon, that craves movement it cannot name, already knew something was off. 10,000 years is nothing. In the full span of human existence, it is barely a breath. Your back was not made for this chair. Your teeth were not made for what you ate today. These are not personal failures. They are records of a transition so fast that biology had no time to follow. Somewhere in the older structure of you, the older design is still running, still waiting for a world that no longer exists. And the question that remains, one no study resolves, is whether everything we built. If you enjoyed this exploration, subscribe for more stories hidden in history, science, and the human condition. And until next time, stay curious.